Here's our last equation solving example for the day, at least by hand. And so what we're going to do with this one is the factoring like a quadratic, those examples I had earlier on today. The nice thing is that they are consistent, they both have sign in there, and so we're going to factor this like a quadratic. And to do that, let's imagine again that we're replacing sign with just x. So here we're going to have 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. So if we take a look down here a little bit farther on the page, we have this problem that is very much like the original. So if we have 2x squared plus 3x plus 1, the way we can start factoring this is by going 2x and x. Remember that we want to multiply to positive 1, and we want to add to 3x. It's a little trickier when we have the 2 out in front of the x squared. But the only two numbers that multiply to 1 are 1 and 1, so let's give it a try and see if it works. So plus 1 and plus 1, we just have to be concerned that if we do 1 times x, that's just x, and then 2x times 1 is 2x. So if you add those together, then you do in fact get 3x, so that works. That pattern is good. We're going to go back up here and we're going to apply that pattern, but instead of having x's, we're going to replace them with signs. So here we're going to have now 2 sine of x and sine of x, just where the x's were in the example on the bottom. And so to multiply to 1, plus 1 and plus 1. And so that takes care of the factoring. Now we can split this up using the zero product property. So we make two mini equations. One of them is going to be 2 sine x plus 1 equals 0. The other one, sine x plus 1 equals 0. All right, so we've got both of those now, and we're going to solve them individually, mini equations, and so we're going to isolate sine of x. So minus the 1 divided by 2 gives us sine of x equals negative 1/2. Over here, I'm just going to subtract the 1, sine of x equals negative 1. Now we look at our unit circle and see if we can find what we're looking for. Remember that sine is the y value on the unit circle. So looking at this one here, where sine is the y value, we want to find out negative 1/2 to start with. And so looking at y values, we've got positives. That's not what we want. Over here we got positives, so we must need to go into this quadrant. Looks like third quadrant, we do have one with a negative 1/2 as a y value, so that's going to be one of our solutions, 7 pi over 6. And then we go over here, there's another one, there's one other one that has y value of negative 1/2, and so 11 pi over 6 is going to be our second solution for this one. So that means that for this first mini equation, it's going to be 7 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. Okay, so that takes care of our first mini equation. Our second mini equation is a little bit trickier. Remember the quadrantal angles. This is one where sine of x is equal to negative 1, so the y value being equal to negative 1, the only point that that's available is right here. So it's at 3 pi over 2. You go anywhere else, the y value will never be negative 1. So that means that x equals 3 pi over 2 as our other solution. And so this one only has 3 solutions, but that is all 3 of them.